Kim was driving home from work. She lived on a winding road, and it was dark out. Suddenly, something jumped out in front of her. A deer, maybe? And just as quickly as it had come into contact, Kim had tried to swerve out of the way, but she lost control, and the car went off the road. Kim didn't remember it, but she had been thrown from the vehicle, and had arrived at the hospital by ambulance, in critical condition. She was now on life support, with family and friends spending all hours of the day and night by her bedside. The monitors were constantly beeping and buzzing. Her father read her books, and her friends would sit around and tell her the gossip of the day. Kim was unable to hear most of what was happening. In fact, she'd awakened into a state which was in her mind, or somewhere else. It was a childlike place, and as she watched the merry-go-round, a man was walking up to her. He was slow in his pace, and as he got closer, she saw that he was dressed in a tuxedo, top hat, shiny shoes, and a red vest. He used a walking stick to walk, but it appeared to be more of a prop than something actually needed to support the man. When he approached her, he called out, "Hello, Kim, and welcome." She didn't feel afraid of him, but she also didn't feel entirely comfortable either. "Hello. Where am I?" she asked. "Oh, Kim, where do you think you are?" I'm not sure." "A circus?" she replied. "Yes, it very much does look like a circus, doesn't it?" he commented. She felt like she'd lost some memory after that. As she came back into focus, she was sitting with the man, and it appeared that they'd been engaged in a conversation, but she couldn't remember any of what had been said. They were sitting on a bench, watching the merry-go-round. There was a man juggling just off to the side of them, and several clowns were off in the distance, performing their routines. The man then asked her, "Kim, do you ever have regrets over the kind of acts that you've committed?" "Me? I haven't committed unkind acts," she responded, a little put off by the question. "But Kim, what about that time when you were in the 5th grade?" And she could suddenly see herself like a flashback in a TV show. The man continued, "The time you stole $35 from Stephanie Jones." "She was just spoiled. She had everything she needed and then some. Big house, nice clothes. It's not like she noticed." "Kim, Stephanie's mom was dying from cancer. The medical bills were relentless. Stephanie's mother could no longer work. Stephanie's dad had taken to working double shifts to pay the bills. That was Stephanie's lunch money for the entire week. She didn't want to upset her father, so she went without lunch that week," he said, in a tone that disappointed tone that parents use. "Oh my God. I don't know. I didn't know that. I'm so sorry." Then another clear picture from her past. "Remember, Kim, when you were in junior high and made fun of Teresa for speaking differently?" he asked. "Well, yes, but in my defense, she went from speaking normally at the end of the school year to speaking completely different by the beginning of the next. We thought she was trying to get attention. It was all in fun," Kim cried. "No harm, no foul." She watched the past, where she was seeing Stephanie, and noticed something quiet. It flashed quickly in the girl's eyes. "What was that?" Kim asked the man. "That look, that hint of—" She couldn't finish. "Kim, Stephanie's father was abusive towards her. Over the summer, he had strangled her and crushed her windpipe. She committed suicide by the next summer. You and your friends had made certain that she'd be teased every day." "But seriously, we were just joking. We didn't know. How could we know?" "I feel terrible now," Kim said softly. "You couldn't know," said the man. "Kim," he began, "do you remember Selena, your co-worker?" "Yes, she had the worst attitude." Kim snapped. Then she said, "I remember her using her work computer to send personal emails. I told her boss, and—" Kim's voice trailed off. "Yes?" the man asked, waiting for the rest. "Well, he fired her, but she knew the rules." The man asked, "Did you know what those emails were about, Kim?" "Well, no," she said, "but it doesn't matter. No private emails were allowed." "Kim, Selena's sister had passed away. She was just trying to comfort their brother, and they were worried about how to pay for her funeral. Then She lost her job, and they didn't have any money to pay for her to be buried. Her ashes now sit in the dark basement of the coroner's office. "Oh," said Kim. I didn't realize." She hadn't said anything. Kim's body was still on life support. She'd been drunk driving and ran a stop sign. A car had been coming from the other side, and they'd hit in the intersection. A woman and her child. They had both passed away. Suddenly the alarms go off on the machines keeping her alive. Kim lost time again, and this time she was standing by the circus tent. All the clowns were walking past her and into the tent. Kim felt uncomfortable watching them, so many walking, one by one by one. The man put his arm behind Kim's back as if to usher her into the tent. It was then that Kim realized that she must be dying. She could hear the alarms off in the distance. She suddenly felt as if she could not breathe. Her skin began to burn. She looked at the man and asked, "Why are there clowns in heaven?" "I'm terrified of clowns. I don't want to go into that tent. Please, no." The man continued to walk her into the tent. So many clowns. "What made you ever think that this was heaven?" he asked.